Hi Stampers, I'm Nancy Novak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here every Wednesday, 7 p.m., so I'm glad you made it. And we're going to create something really cute tonight with the Mixed Florals stamp set. We're going to use watercolor pencils. We haven't done that for a while, so I'm looking forward to sharing that technique with you. So let's get started. So the Mixed Florals stamp set, that's the stamp that we're going to be using today. We're going to use this image right here to create our pretty spring flower. And we're also going to use the everyday arches. So let me bring in our supplies. So I'm going to have a card base of Granny Apple Green, and then inside I have a piece of white and a little piece of designer series paper. Then I have a front layering piece. I have another piece of designer series paper. This is the Bloomin' Impressions designer series paper. That was one of the celebration items. And then I have the two arches that I cut out, one in Coastal Cabana and one in white. And on the project sheet, I will let you know the sizes of all of the pieces that you need to create this card and the size of the arches and all the names of the other supplies like the designer series paper and the color of the stamps. All that stuff will be on the project sheet. And to get the project sheet, you just need to sign up for my newsletter, which is free. And I send that newsletter out right after my video is over, and it goes right to your email. So we're also going to use an embossing folder. We'll start off with that. This is the eyelet embossing folder. So we're going to take this front white piece and we're going to place it right in the middle of that embossing folder. And there's a line right there that helps you line this up so it's nice and easy. So I'm going to run that through the machine. I fast forward, so I'll be right back. Oh, and that's very, very pretty. Nice, bold texture. But it's called eyelet lace, so it's really kind of delicate, but it really shows up well. So let me get this out of the way. And now we're going to bring in our stamping piece. This is the arch we're going to stamp on. And I have this here to block the light, because if I move that light is glaring on that glass. So I'm going to bring in a different scrap, and we're going to stamp right on that arch. And I'm going to use StazOn black ink. And I put the stamp on this great big ink block. So now I'm just going to ink it up in the StazOn. And I'm using StazOn. First of all, I want it to be a really bold outline. So the black StazOn is going to give us that nice bold black color. Plus I'm using watercolor pencils today. We haven't used watercolor pencils in a while. And even though we're not going to use water, we're going to use the blender pens. The StazOn ink will help avoid any bleeding in case it gets a little bit wet, but it really shouldn't. You could actually use your Memento black ink and regular basic white paper. You don't necessarily have to have watercolor paper. Okay, beautiful image there. Okay, so we're going to bring in our watercolor pencils and our blender pen. And after we color with the pencils, we're going to use this to blend the colors together, and it really turns out really pretty. So we're going to color the flowers in Coastal Cabana, and the leaves I'm going to color in Granny Apple Green, and the little flowers I'm going to color in Daffodil Delight. So I'm not going to worry too much about how I'm coloring, because that blender pen works magic, and it fills in any little lines that it just blends it really nice, just fills it all in nicely. So I can color real fast. I am staying inside the lines though. I like to color inside the lines. How about you? Okay, let's bring in our blender pen. So the blender pen, as you use it, it's going to get a little bit of a color to it. So the last one I used was some type of pink. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all that pink off. And now it's ready to use again. So you do that every single time. It's totally reusable. So I'm just going over our flower. I'm going to show this to you close up before I continue doing the other flowers. Okay, so here's the one I just colored in. There's the one I blended. So you can see it doesn't look like it's filled in very nicely, but look how pretty that one turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and blend these two, and then I'll give you another close-up view of that. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? It's so easy. And watercolor pencils are really inexpensive. So I will link all the supplies that I'm using below this video. So if you want to recreate this card, all the supplies will be listed there. And you can shop at my online store and get them really, really easily. And again, you got the free project sheet. So that'll help you cut all your pieces. Okay, I'm going to color the stems in the same color, and then I'm just going to go over again with another green just to darken the stems up just a little bit, just to give it a little bit different shade. So I'm just going to bring in Old Olive and just go over that just a little bit. See, it just gives it just a little bit darker shade. So you can kind of see the stems are stems. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my blender again and blend in all those leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my blender pen is cleaned off. Let me show this to you close up. So this leaf here I did, and this one here, and these I didn't. So let me go ahead and finish, and you'll see what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so now we're going to do the yellow flowers. Very pretty. So easy with those watercolor pencils, right? Okay, so let's put this card together, and then we'll do something on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my embossed piece to the front, and then I'm going to glue the two arches together, and then I'm going to kind of look at where I want this piece to go. I'm going to kind of go like this. Then I'm going to glue that piece down, and then this piece I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. Okay, let's go to the inside, then we'll come back to the front and put some embellishments on there. So for the inside, I have my white piece, and I have a teeny tiny strip of that Pretty Designer Series paper. So I'm just going to glue that all to the inside. Now normally I would stamp that white piece before I glued it down, and I would stamp in Coastal Cabana. But since this card is so versatile, I can use this for so many different occasions. I can use it for Easter, for spring, for thinking of you, for Happy Mother's Day, for Happy Birthday, you name it. It's very versatile. And I'm not sure what I want to use it for yet, so I didn't stamp on the inside. But again, I would stamp with Coastal Cabana, which will bring all the colors together. But now let's finish the front. So I'm going to bring in some of the little rhinestones, and I'm going to bring in the Coastal Cabana stamping blend, and I'm going to color in a couple of rhinestones and then just add them to our card. I just love how you can color in the rhinestones. It's really fun. Then I'm going to bring in a little yellow bow. So this is satin ribbon. It's 1/8 of an inch, and it's Daffodil Delight. And I think this is one of the last chance items. So if you like the thin ribbon, it's really a nice way to tie bows, nice to tie bows with. And I'm just going to put a yellow bow on there, but I had this one done. I think I'm going to put a double bow on. So let me do that really quick. Okay, beautiful spring card. What do you think of it? Do you like it? I have one more I want to show you. I did another one in a different color, so let me grab that one. So this one I did in the pinks. And this one I added a little ladybug. Now that's one of the stamps in the stamp set. You get 3 different ladybugs. You get a whole nother different flower, very pretty flower, and the leaf and the little tiny sprig of flowers. So Mixed Florals is really a nice versatile stamp set. But again, here is today's card. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter to get your free project sheet. And if you're shopping, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Go over to my blog. You'll see great big pictures of today's card. And down below is a link to all the supplies. And I will see you next time. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.